Hi everybody. Today we have a mono blue artifacts list. Now, credit for the inspiration behind today's list goes to Schlop on Twitter. Don't know their real name, but I'll post an image of their original tweet below. I've made a couple of changes, so you'll see a few different iterations of this deck as we kind of go through the gameplay, but I'll kind of run through it real quick with you and give you just a crash course in how it works. So we've got 4 Cityscape Leveler, and so that's kind of the whole point of the deck, is you want to get some Cityscape Levelers out and then just keep abusing the cast and comes into play ability through both when you cast it with your Power Stones and through unearthing it from the grave later in the game. Down on the low end, we're filling up with the deck with some artifacts. We've got Surgical Skullbomb. This is kind of a nice just cycler. If you don't really need that ability, you can just cycle through it for 2. And then the return a creature to its owner's hand ability actually comes with a draw a card ability on it too, which is really nice. Sorcery speed though, so watch out for that one. Fading Hope is a classic kind of stall card, but we can also use that on our own Cityscape Leveler if we need to cast it again. Moonsnare Prototype is a nice artifact that goes well with Tezzeret and helps us get out our levelers a little bit early. Down here in the 2-drops, we've got 4 copies of Reckoner Bankbuster. This is nice. It helps us draw some cards and then can turn into a threat a little bit later on, since we're not running a whole lot of other creatures to support it. So other cards in here, we've got 4 copies of Tezzeret. Tezzeret is nice for digging through our deck, putting things in our graveyard, and making artifacts into big creatures. You can occasionally get to that emblem and end up drawing disgusting amount of cards with Tezzeret, but don't sleep on this static ability on the card either. The first ability that we activate each turn costs 2 less, meaning that our Reckoner Bankbuster activations are essentially free. That also applies to Surge Engine, which I added in there. But be careful because the Mightstone and Weakstone in here helps power out our Cityscape Levelers, helps us draw cards, is removal, but us adding mana with the Mightstone and Weakstone counts as our first ability of the turn. So if we use this, then Tezzeret counts towards the Mightstone instead of our Bankbuster or something with an actual mana cost attached to it. Tezzeret doesn't care, he just sees the first ability that you do. So what this deck originally looked like was, instead of the Surge Engine, Make Disappear, and some of these lands over here, we had 4 Disruption Protocol and 4 of, I'm blanking on the name, that blue card, Phylagi something or other. Phylagi Archaeologist, that's the one. And that Archaeologist I replaced with Surge Engine after a few games, and the Disruption Protocol I replaced with Make Disappear. This is honestly kind of the most flexible spot in the deck, I think. Different numbers of counters, different things you could do here. Surge Engine, though, I swapped out for the Archaeologist. Now, the Archaeologist is nice for digging through the deck and milling some things into the grave, but it was just kind of a 1/4 if it ended up putting a counter on itself, whereas Surge Engine is a good blocker right away. And then if we've got the mana later in the game, which we certainly do with this deck, it's got a lot of options for us to either close out the games or get back into it with drawing some cards. So Surge Engine was kind of a nice swap for that. Now, no shade on the original creator of this deck, obviously. They admitted it was kind of a work in progress, and, you know, everybody kind of makes changes to decks based on their own play styles. So this is just what ended up feeling good for me. So before we get to some games, just real quick going over these lands, I put in 4 Mishra's Foundry and 2 Mirrex to create some tokens. Mishra's Foundry gives us a little bit of extra reach to finish off some games if we don't happen to have a threat on the board. Plus, we don't really care too much about mana costs. The most colored mana we need is 2 for Tezzeret. The rest is pretty much whatever you want. So I think originally there was like 4 Crystal Grotto in here for a nice scry. You could probably get away with some cycling lands or something like that. So anyway, this one ended up being pretty fun. You got lots of options. You get to play with Tezzeret a lot. A lot of folks will just scoop once you play your first Cityscape Leveler. And even if they manage to survive that, it's fun to kind of find these avenues to finish off a game with a Surge Engine or a Bankbuster here, bouncing the right thing at the right time so that your opponent, who thinks they had enough to block, suddenly is 1 short, and that's just enough to lose the game to us. Let's get over and see some of these games on the ranked standard ladder. I'll be with you for commentary, but as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. All right, plenty of land, plenty of things to do early. Let's keep this. No Skull Bomb there. Fading Hope. All right, let's get the Moonsnare down. Can aim to start bank busting next turn, keeping Fading Hope around to handle any early interaction. Opponent at the top of the gold ranks must be doing pretty well. Body Dropper. Okay. Well, there's our Skullbomb. Wanted to try that one out. Okay, that's the one that gets counters. Let's go ahead and Bankbuster still, and then we can use Moonsnare to get this Skullbomb down. Opponent gets in with the Body Dropper. Follows up with a Harvester. Is this a vampire deck? No, that's a devil. Okay. Well, let's get island number 3. We are at 4 mana, so let's draw with the Bankbuster. Does that make sense to pay with the... Sure. Great. All right. So we're on the hook for possibly 5 damage this turn. Fable. That's a decent target for Fading Hope. Don't need any more land at this point. Really trying to get our levelers going. Let's try to draw into something here. There we go. Now we know. All right, let's get the Mightstone and Weakstone going. Do a little removal here. Unfortunately, got to wait one more turn before we can get Senior Leveler going. Not a whole lot of sacrifice from our opponent just yet. Although their deck is kind of set up to take advantage of it. Oni Cult Anvil. Okay, I see. Got a couple of blood tokens. Fable set to flip next turn. Alright, well, it's leveler time for us. Let's get rid of that Anvil. We do have one more turn before the Fable can start doing things. And hopefully this leveler will survive, and we can take that out with our next attack. Opponent is going a little bit wide, though, so we'll have to kind of be careful. Doing some drawing with some blood tokens. Oh, sacrificing the station. Okay. All right, opponent. And no attacks. Okay. Another Mightstone. We may just have to draw with that and replace ours, but before we do that... Oh, okay. Opponent can't deal with the leveler. All right, good game. Okay, back for another one. Yeah, I'm on the fence about this one, but we've got Moonsnare, and we can play out this Surge Engine on turn 2. If we can make it to 4, Tez might be able to help us find what we're looking for. Excellent. There's another land. Not even a problem. Surge Engine online for us, but can't start attacking just yet. However, it can block just fine. Mishra's Foundry. So if we want, we can do something for 4 mana. Or we can start getting in with the Surge Engine, which I think makes much more sense. Opponent looks like they're trying to ramp something out. So this Spell Bomb and our ability to power out an early leveler might be able to take care of possibly the one thing that they're building towards. If it ends up being a Titan of Industry... we'll want to counteract that with the leveler after they play it, of course. Can't save our own thing. Let's just let that go. Graveyard Trespasser. All right, we're going to have to watch that in case we get a leveler in the grave. But they just opt to exile their own cut down for some reason. All right. Far be it for me to understand the opponent's mindset. Let's sacrifice this Spell Bomb and keep drawing here. Island number 2. We could Tezzeret, make a blocker, or do some draw. I think we'll just activate this Moonsnare and protect Tezzeret with it.
My toys will keep you busy.
Okay, Sheoldred's Edict comes out. Deals with Tezzeret handily. Nice of him to leave us a blocker, though. Alright, things getting sacrificed and exiled left and right. Trespasser comes back in and eats the Moonsnare. Alright, and we draw right into Mightstone territory. Let's draw. We kind of need to catch up. Ooh, excellent. We can Surge Engine. And we've got 2 copies of Leveler, so all we need is 1 more untapped land. Opponent with the Sheoldred activates the Scrap Gorger and gets rid of our Skullbomb. As a more famous person than me once said, "Where my skull?" Let's make the trade there. No sense in beating around the bush with it. We draw into an island, and I think we all know what our first target's going to be. Although we are still at a decently high life total. Usually Sheoldred can get us a little bit lower than that, but we're not as dependent on things like big score going off or other forms of card draw. Opponent with a Loam Speaker. They're definitely ramping towards something. Not sure if giving them that Power Stone is going to help them or not be of much use. All right. Well, Scrap Gorger's online. Not sure we can get in with a Foundry. We may just go for Leveler number 2. Loam Speaker over the Scrap Gorger just because they can make extra blockers with it, and we don't want that. Opponent looking like they might have a response to some of this. Level off the Scrap Gorger here. Alright. So we've got 2 levelers. We've got a Fading Hope in hand. We could bounce either one of their blockers or return one of our levelers to our hand and play it all over again. Okay. Too much. Good game. Alright, a little on the pricey side, but I think we can make this work. We get an extra draw here. Alright. So we're going to need something between now and turn 4 when we can play Tezzeret. Alright, Bankbuster fills that slot nicely. So what we can do is either draw next turn with it if we need to, or get down Foundry as kind of a blocker. Although this color combination from our opponent makes it look like they're going to try that Rot Priest combo. Can be good sometimes, but seems a little bit... What's the word that I'm looking for? Inefficient? I don't know. I do like our opponent's username. I may be losing, but that doesn't mean that I'm wrong. Let's see. Foundry, I guess. Will eventually give us a blocker if they want to start priesting. Tezzeret, that means Bankbuster activation is free. Let's get a little bit of draw in with him, though. We can maybe start working toward an emblem. Oh, definitely easy discard here. Opponent not showing any creatures just yet. We still have a Fading Hope in hand. And we are building up towards Leveler time, so we can take out, hopefully, whatever they put into play. Disruption Protocol. Hasn't been too bad so far. Might change this out for something else. Either just a regular 3-mana counter. I don't know. I often find I don't want to tap all of my artifacts all the time. Okay, Ivy. This is definitely going to try to do some Rot Priest shenanigans. Let's try to get some of that out of their hand before they get any other creatures to kind of compound their value engine with. Sure, counter, why not? Safekeeping. Oh. Oh. All right. Well, I was going to have some regrets there, as I kind of forgot that I was casting Fading Hope and not some kind of removal spell like in my other decks. But, all right. Yeah, let's start getting in here. Oh, nuts. And it's... You ever punt like twice in the same turn? Creature has indestructible. Okay. It's fine. We're just this is all camouflage. We're just confusing the opponent. They'll have no idea what's coming now. Who's this M. Bacon's character? Why are they making terrible decisions? All right, so this will bring us to 6. We can Mightstone, we can Surge Engine. Let's see what they do with our Bankbuster first. You want to hit a Fading Hope in there? No. Try to hit Ivy with that, maybe. If it even makes it to the battlefield. Sure. Wow. You do not see that card a lot. But I guess it makes sense. If you can't protect the Ivy that you've got, you might as well go get another one. It's the disaster response preparedness card of Magic the Gathering. It's like it never even happened. Let's discard the extra Mightstone. Paying 5 for some targeted removal is not the greatest deal. I think what we might need to do is just start pressing the attack here. Getting some creatures going and really just trying to get up in the opponent's face before they can start doing any shenanigans. Finding Rot Priest. If they want to attack Tezzeret here, that's okay. Alright, there's the Rot Priest. Toxic 1. Ooh, Counterpart. Counterpart is such a fun card. Alright, well, that is a good combination of cards, as the kids like to say. That will get us up to 2 for the poison counters. Alright, and that is... They did copy the Rot Priest. So I think it is Leveler time, but let's... Like, they're not going to block with it, right? Yeah, let's get in and try to get any interaction out of their hand first. Like, maybe they want to... Well, with 2 Rot Priests, though, they're going to have a... Well, we need to start putting some pressure on them. We can't keep sitting around. We'll get in with both. No blocks, and we will try to level off. Let's go for the original Rot Priest. We've got some Fading Hopes in here, so if we bounce a token, it's not coming back. Great. So opponent gets a Power Stone, but I hope they can't use that. Kind of doubt it. Guess I thought I'd have mana left to do a little something else there. Anyway, Croaking Counterpart goes off, gives us some poison counters. Opponent having a good think over there. Another March of Burgeoning Life. Goes to find a Rot Priest. All right. Well, I love all the interactions of these cards, but we are halfway to our own demise with poison counters. And we can't pay for that. All right. I thought we had some mana left over. Mirrex from us means we can... Well, it takes some time to think about this. We can do some attacking, and I think we may have enough to get in here and really start pressuring them into blocks. And we might just be able to take them out entirely. Wait, they can't block the Surge Engine. All right, one Rot Priest down. Just Ivy as a blocker. Blocks the biggest one. That's 15. Ooh. All right, we got there. Good game. Alrighty, well, this looks good. I've had another cup of coffee. We're going to tighten up the play a little bit this round. As we pick up a spell bomb, let's hold up Make Disappear. Haven't seen a lot of Dimir decks, but I've heard of a kind of proliferate-y, control-y deck going around. Great target for Make Disappear. Let's not let them have a card draw engine. All right, Fading Hope. Let's get the Surge Engine down. And, yep, Spellbomb too. Why not? I don't know about y'all, but I don't see a lot of Surge Engine around, but maybe that's because blue has better things to do with Haughty Djinn. All right, Shieldred's going to ding us a little bit for some life. I think Foundry here. This lets us draw. Let's buy us a little more time. If we can make it up to 8 before Shieldred is too much of a problem, we can probably just level her off. Definitely acting like a much more aggressive deck right now than we actually are. Okay, Shieldred comes back. We will get hit for 2. There's a Bankbuster. Alright, well, we've got the Mightstone. Shieldred fits perfectly under that. So, yeah, let's continue to pretend to be an aggro deck. Or at least a mid-rangey deck. Let's finish off your creature and get in with ours. Alright, I think we're in a good spot. Oh. And if you hit the end turn button before you play the Bankbuster... It's alright, we're saving it. We're saving it. Opponent with the backup Shieldred. See what we can pick up for ourselves here. Another Bankbuster. All right, so let's think about this. We're up to 8. We could continue to kind of delay the game a little bit with this Fading Hope. Sure. It also prevents our opponent from gaining life off a Shieldred. Might be able to get him in a spot where they're staring down some 4/4 artifacts with Tezzeret here. Well, let's draw and see if we can pick up a Leveler. We can't. Yeah, happy to discard a Bankbuster, though. Let's see, does this work out? If we Bankbuster and... Let's see, we'll be able to do Surge Engine or... Oh, no. Nope, okay. Alright, so Tezzeret... I forgot. Tezzeret counts the Mightstone and Weakstone as our first artifact activation, so we don't get the discount. Even though there's no mana cost associated with it, he doesn't care. Maybe I've swung around the other side now and I've had too much coffee. Alright. Shieldred again. Shieldred just back and forth from the hand. Good news for us, though, is we found Leveler. Wish we had one more mana. Let's see. They've got Rona, Kaido down there. Now let's go for it. If they counter this, we can always unearth it next turn. Oh, and I forgot it's a cast trigger. Just like Ulamog. That's great. So even if they counter it, we still get the cast trigger. That's actually really nice for us. Okay, well, in that case, let's draw. And I think Skullbomb. Surge Engine can draw us more cards. Can attack sooner. Oh, did I do it again? Ugh. Alright, well, let's crew it up with the Leveler. I'm in that mindset where it's like, oh, well, we'll just save the Bankbuster for later. We got that discount coming. It's like, no, not if you activate the stone first. Wish we had one more mana for this Make Disappear, but let's see what the opponent's got. All right, Invoke Despair. Usually the bane of my existence, but actually don't mind that too much here. All right, so we could unearth the Leveler and get them to 3, but then we've kind of got no finisher. Or we could try to get in with Foundry on its own, start building up Surge Engine and drawing cards, just in case they've got like a Fading Hope sitting around. They seem like they've got something. Vortex, okay. Sure, that is fine. Let's get Surge Engine down. We can start building that up. Maybe refilling our hand a little bit with that. All right, Kaido. Could maybe get fancy, but I don't think we have enough mana for it. Anyway, this is fine.
Our eyes are everywhere.
Surge Engine unblockable. Once we put enough mana into it. Yeah, let's make him a little beefier. Good time for the opponent to cut it down. I don't think it makes sense to crew anything up with it, so that's all right. Okay. Well, I think Foundry. Yeah, let's Mightstone and draw cards with it. Until we get some more going, I kind of want to hang on to this Leveler in the graveyard as sort of a threat that they have to keep in mind. Oh, good. There's Leveler number 2. If we can start taking tokens off of these Bankbusters, we can also crew them up with the pilots eventually. Hit a little heavier than our lands will allow us to. Opponent gets in with a ninja. Unblockable, so no reason to fire up the lands just yet.
Now, what do we have here?
Kaido going to allow them to start drawing 2 cards per turn. Follows up with a Celestis. That's going to get them a look at a little bit more. Activate it right away. Discards a Go for the Throat. Since we've shown them nothing but levelers and artifact creatures so far, let's draw. All right. We can Foundry and get in at Kaido. That should be enough for that.
Your head wasn't in it.
Yeah, let's start taking some more counters off of these. Think that might be good enough for now. We can start making a token on our opponent's next turn. Opponent activates Celestis. Not sure how I feel about these make disappears in here. I swapped them in for Disruption Protocol, which is a hard counter, but wanted to tap a lot of my artifacts in the early game, and so this was... we were able to kind of play it a little bit early, a little bit more reliably, but yeah, late game scenarios, not as good. Let's make a Might token, and if we get into a situation where we need beefier make disappears, we can start sacrificing those. Alright, Celestis. Sorry, just having a think here. Let's see. Do we do this? Why not? Let's get in with a little bit of damage here. Take out one of their forms of card draw. Otawara on this? Interesting. I guess it doesn't go back to our hand anyways, so that's a good use for it. Alright, opponent down to 2 cards, but the Celestis is down. Kaido is down. And we're threatening to take a couple of counters off of these Bankbusters too, which is going to be good for some... hopefully for some damage they're not quite factoring in yet. Opponent attacks with the Ninja, gets us to 7. Well, let's take counter off Bankbuster number 1. Pick up an island and get a pilot. Let's do the same for number 2. We get Make Disappear and a second treasure to go along with our pilot. All right. Well, let's make them deal with these Bankbusters. I feel like these pilots are fragile, and we should definitely make use of them while they're here. Opponent goes for the throat, the second one, but we can just crew it up in response. That's okay. Hopefully the makeup of our threats means our opponent is stuck with a bunch of go for the throats in the hand. Let's see. So we can come across for 8, assuming they don't remove any of these things. Let's throw the Foundry in there as well. And so that'll bring us up to 11 with this Might. Opponent having to think, hits us with a March. Well, I think we can't allow... well, let's sack the pilot. We can get the casualty. They could pay for the first one with the Power Stones that they have. So we had to do that. All right, so we can come across for 11. Could do this just to try to give them too much to handle. Let's get rid of that Ninja. All right. Kind of overcommitting a little bit to the board here in hopes of finishing this off. With our pilots gone too, we're going to need another way to finish this game besides just Bankbusters, and we got there. All right, good game. Back again for another one. We've got all of our early game interaction. Couple of skull bombs here. This deck kind of unorthodox. A lot of people think mono blue and they think a haughty Jin, but we're able to lean in the artifact direction, which is a little more fun, at least for me. All right. Yeah, I think Surge Engine here. Could keep Make Disappear up as well, but I don't know. Ossification. Okay, that's good. That's a good one. Opponent gets to hit us twice and give us 2 poison counters thanks to the double strike. Well, let's use this. We'll get a card draw and buy us a little time. If we can make our way up to 5, maybe pick up a Mightstone along the way, we might be able to buy us some more time and ramp our way up to Cityscape Leveler territory. Let's keep Make Disappear up right here. Give us the option to bank bust if they don't do anything too big. Okay, Duelist we can't counter. Opponent gets in for 1 just with the human token. Wedding Announcement will give them another token. Let's go ahead and draw then. Surge Engine and another Skull Bomb. I don't know, would kind of like to keep a Make Disappear up, but let's get the Surge Engine going. It's a good blocker against what our opponent has shown us so far. Land number 5. Mondrak. Well, definitely going to earn a counter from me. Opponent attacks. Let's crew up the Bankbuster with the Surge Engine. They might have forgotten about that. I know I do all the time. And hopefully we will take out this creature. Excellent. Opponent draws with the wedding festivities. And we've got the Mightstone and Weakstone here. Let's get Skullbomb down. That'll come in handy with these tokens eventually. Get in here. Not feeling too threatened at the moment. Can use this to draw here and do a little work on the board. And we can keep up Make Disappear and a draw from our Bankbuster if we so desire. Opponent with a Wanderer. Definitely not. No thank you. Now in that scenario, Disruption Protocol would have worked as well, but your mileage may vary. All right, more land. We've got 2 copies of the Mightstone and Weakstone. Can definitely afford to use this one for card draw. Can make our Surge Engine a little bit bigger. And start threatening to finish our opponent off here before they can do anything about it. Ooh, Phyrexian Vindicator comes down and is a 6/6, so that means we're not going to be able to hit it with the Mightstone. Well, this could just be a game of buying time while we do the old Skullbomb trick here. So that's 3. We'll return that to your hand. Card draw. Okay, make disappear. Let's see. All right. We'll make the, not the factory, the Foundry a creature. Get in for 7. So what this does is threatens lethal next turn. We'll end it there. So we're kind of acting like we're leaving Bankbuster mana open. But if they go for the same play, we might be able to get them. Mondrak. All right, and they've got 2 mana up to pay for this make disappear. But what we can do, okay, it's probably worth it. Activate the Foundry, make disappear, sacrifice the Foundry to pay the casualty cost. And so unless they've got removal in their hand, the unblockable Surge engine is threatening to finish this next turn. Let's see what they got. Oh, it went straight to combat. That's a good sign for us. Untap another Mightstone. Any reason to do anything beforehand? I mean, we can draw whenever we want, I suppose. Let's try to get in. All right. Exacxies, we got there. Good game.